And I think this plays into the narrative of what's going on in Ukraine and Russia right now. The Lord has shown me several things about what's happening there. And despite whatever good in the past God used in Vladimir Putin, the Lord began to show me that there was something within the Black Sea stirring like some kind of portal of darkness and smoke that I felt like was a portal of darkness that had been opened through occult activity, that has released an insanity and a violence and an aggression right there. And it really is almost a David and Goliath thing. And despite however you feel about Zelensky and Putin, the courage of the Ukrainian people and the courage of the Russian people to speak out, to not be quieted, to not be silenced. God's doing something. His activity, despite the enemy is at work, His activity is going on there, and He's raising up. As I said on New Year's, anybody remember, watch Poland. On December 31st, I stood right at this spot. Watch Poland as you see this restructuring of Eastern and Western Europe. And Moscow's about as east as you can go. And what we're seeing, some of these small Western nations like Poland. Watch Estonia. Estonia is going to be a stone in David's sling to slay the giant. God is giving grace right now amidst all of this. And I think we need to be guarding our minds to all kinds of crazy narratives, even conspiracy theory stuff right now. Let me tell you, there are people genuinely suffering. There's corruption in Ukraine government and Russian government, but there's innocent people suffering right now. And in that whole David and Goliath narrative, 1 Samuel 17:35. This is when David was about to face Goliath, and he's talking to Saul, and he says, I went after it, struck it, and rescued the sheep from its mouth. When it turned on me, I seized it by its hair, struck it, and killed it. Now this is what David did when he was explaining that when a sheep in his pasture, the lion or the bear came to attack, he spared the sheep by taking hold of the lion and the bear. I believe what the Lord is doing right now in Eastern Europe, I believe Putin's war will fail. It's going to fail. It'll be aborted. Some of you that have watched Prophetic Perspectives, you know what I've shared. The Lord's this is not going to end well for him. Whatever connection he had with God in the past, I'm praying for him, but I believe there was consulting of the occult that has kindled the anger of the Lord towards this situation, towards him. And he will not survive this. Even his life will not survive this. If I don't know if there's time or grace, but I'm telling you, this is what the Lord has shown me. And I believe there's a realignment. Some smaller nations, nameless, faceless nations, some are going to rise, some are going to fall. Some smaller nations, and I know many of you are filtering this prophetic word through different news sources and things you're hearing, but this is from the Lord, and I'm praying that through this persecution and whatever is happening in these corrupt governments, that a mighty outpouring and breakout of revival follow the persecution, and wherever persecution is, the revival will follow.